Hey, what's going on? So recently I posted a video taking a look at the modding scene for Final Fantasy IX, as the community recently released what's called the Moguri Mod 9.0. It's their newest version and it was crazy. If you want to check that out, I'll put a card at the top of the screen. You can go look at that if you're interested. But that's not why we're here today. As the thumbnail and title suggests, we're looking at Final Fantasy VII. So while Final Fantasy IX is my favorite game in the Final Fantasy series and my favorite game of all time, arguably Final Fantasy VII is the most popular entry in the series, and it deserves it. I mean, it's a fantastic, fantastic game. So it goes without saying that Final Fantasy VII also has quite a crazy modding scene, and it uses an application called Seventh Heaven, which we're going to take a look at here in a second. So this mod manager is much older than the Moguri mod, from what I understand, again, which makes sense. And it's a lot more robust than what you get with the Final Fantasy IX one we looked at. I like the simplicity of the Moguri mod in Final Fantasy IX, but man, there's a lot for Final Fantasy VII. And, I think we can all agree that Final Fantasy VII, the original, needed a lot more help than Final Fantasy IX did. So it does totally make sense. So Final Fantasy VII was a pioneer back in 1997, bringing RPGs into the modern era, right, with 3D character models, pre-rendered backgrounds. We moved away from all the Super Nintendo format, and it really was a pioneer, but as such, it has not aged very well at all. And before you come at me, remember, I'm a purist. I grew up with the original. I love the original. I can play through the original just fine, but I think a lot of people these days couldn't. It does need a lot of help. We all remember those beloved Lego character models with the big block arms and stuff. It's got a certain charm to it, but like it needs some mods. It needs some help. It needs some love. So we have the Final Fantasy remake trilogy underway, right? We have remake, we have rebirth. I liked remake. I really liked Rebirth, but there's just a certain charm that the original has. So to say that the remake trilogy makes the original obsolete, I think is misguided. We definitely need the original. They're so different that I see them as two completely different things. So the original is absolutely worth a playthrough. If you've got it on Steam, I'm going to show you how to set up mods so it's an even better playthrough when you do go through it. In fact, I actually played through the original Final Fantasy VII with some mods using the Seventh Heaven library last year. In fact, check out some of these comparison screenshots so you can see what I'm talking about with how much it adds to the experience. The thing is, though, I didn't know last year that I was using an extremely old version of Seventh Heaven, like 2 point something, and now they're at 4.0.0.0, 4.0 essentially. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. I figured if I was going to dump everything that I did last year and sort of start fresh and reinstall everything, which is exactly what I'm doing, I may as well do it with you, so you can do it with me and get set up as well. Let's take a look. So this really breaks down into 4 very simple steps. It's pretty darn easy to set up. And we'll look at each of these steps individually. But it's basically comprised of, number 1, make sure you have a clean install path. Number 2, you're going to install Final Fantasy VII on Steam using the English language option. Number 3, download Seventh Heaven from seventhheaven.rocks. And finally 4, install the newest version of Seventh Heaven and run the thing. And that's really it. Alright, so step number 1, make a clean install path. What I mean by that is if you have previously used Final Fantasy VII's mod manager Seventh Heaven, you need to uninstall the old version, or your whatever version you're using right now, and delete the file path entirely. You need to go into your root folders and like go to the location where it was saved and make sure everything that has to do with Seventh Heaven is deleted. Also, if you own Final Fantasy VII on Steam, you need to go in and uninstall that, not delete it. You need to uninstall that from your PC so you can do a fresh install here in a minute. You'll also want to go into the file path of where the Steam game of Final Fantasy VII was saved and delete all those folders too, so it's like it never existed. So in other words, you just need to make sure it looks like you've never messed with Final Fantasy VII, the Steam version, or the mods or anything at all on your PC. Go ahead and delete it all. Now, if you need to find where, I had to like Google where to find the file path for like the folders of Final Fantasy VII that Steam created even after I uninstalled it. And I'll post that on the screen somewhere here so you can see it. I don't know if it's going to be the same for you. It likely will be, but hopefully that helps. But at the end of the day, if you've got a fresh slate, you are good to go with the next step. All right, step number 2 is you're going to want to install Final Fantasy VII on Steam using the English language version. Now, the reason you have to install it with the English is because the mod is only compatible with the English version. If you do any other language, it will not work, unfortunately. So as of now, you're going to have to install it with English. So go ahead and just go to Steam. Final Fantasy VII is always extremely cheap, usually like $7 to $10. Wish listed if you don't have it. It'll go on sale all the time, but it's a very cheap game. So you do have to purchase it, but it's well worth the money. Go ahead and install that. I'm going to create a desktop shortcut to make it easy for this video's sake. Yeah, go ahead and... By the way, you don't have to worry about where to install it. Just go with whatever Steam goes with, and you're totally good. Alright, so as you can see, it's just going to boot up from Steam like normal. We go ahead and hit play. And the old version boots up. Nice! But that's not what we want. We're going to go to the next step. Alright, the next step, we're going to download the Seventh Heaven mod manager, the application that makes all the magic happen, from seventhheaven.rocks. I have never heard of a URL like that, but that's what it's called. I'm going to try and zoom in and out so you can see this text a little bit better. But go to seventhheaven.rocks, and it will take you here to the main page of where this all comes from. Now, there's a bunch of stuff you can click. It's really just the same page. If you go to download Seventh Heaven right here, it's just going to bring you down to that chunk of the page where you can do just that. I'm going to move myself in the corner here. So you've got a couple options. You can see it says Seventh Heaven 4.x, the stable build. That's this link right here. That's what you're going to want to click. It says, due to the nature of this particular update, a fresh install of Seventh Heaven is required if you currently have anything else. We already did that. Below it, I just want to point out as well, it says the latest Canary build can be obtained at the following link. That's right here. This is the latest experimental features that we are working on and may be buggy. So let's look at this first. This is going to take you here. You can see it says Seventh Heaven version 4.0.0.4, but take note of this. This is a Canary build. Please be aware it may be prone to crashing and is not tested by anyone. Use this build at your own risk. So this is essentially the newest version that they're working on to be the next version. So I would not recommend getting any Canary build. Let's just go back to here and click Seventh Heaven Setup Executable. Okay, and that's going to take you to this tab I already had open here, but it's going to take you to Seventh Heaven version 4.0.0.0. That's fun to say. So just scroll on down to the bottom. I'm going to zoom up my text here if I can. Gives you this, Seventh Heaven. There's the release.exe you can see, and there's some other stuff here. Just go ahead and grab this top one, Seventh Heaven version 4.0.0.0.0.0 release exe. Okay, step number 4. Once you have downloaded the application, it's going to be, of course, in your downloads folder. Just go ahead and run it. Tell Windows to run it anyway. Okay, and again, the file path doesn't matter. It's going to install it, wherever it wants to install it. Go ahead and hit next, next. I am going to create a desktop shortcut as well. I found that was really handy when I did it before. Install. When you get to this screen, it's going to have a whole bunch of different kind of things written in here. Don't have to really worry about any of it. You can change all the settings later when you go into the application. So just hit save down here in the bottom right. And now we're in the actual application. Immediately you can see it's downloading updates. It's grabbing a bunch of stuff that it needs to, let it do its thing. Successfully updated FFNX to the newest version. All options have been set to default. Enjoy! I will. So now for the moment we've all been waiting for, the real meat and potatoes of how this is going to work. So first of all, I will point out at the top left, you're going to have the play button, but you've got this down arrow as well. If you click that, you can see it says play with mods, the default, or without mods. You can actually go in straight from the mod manager and just play the OG vanilla version, which is kind of cool. Don't know why you would do that, but power to you. But we want to play with mods, so you don't have to mess with that. Once you put in the mods you want, you're just going to hit the play button up here. So as far as the mods go, you can see I'm in a My Mods tab, which has nothing in it. And then there's a Browse Catalog tab over here. Go ahead and click that, and you're going to see the master list, and there's a lot here. There's a couple mods you can choose from in here. Let me just show you the interface of how this works. And then we'll get to the actual mod downloading and playing the game. So, as you can see, as I click the mods, it brings up a preview window on the left. So for example, this very top one, 60 FPS animations for Chaos. Well, what is Chaos? That's a different mod. So on the left, you can see it says requires Chaos and the 60-30 FPS gameplay mod. So what I'm pointing out here is some of these, depending on what they are, will specify that they come in a package, right? You have to get the other mods to make it work. This isn't something that I use. Most of the really good ones, in my opinion, you don't need any other mods to make them compatible, so don't worry about that too much, but just be aware that is part of the formula here. But you can see on the right, there's the Chaos one we're looking at here. New Threat basically makes a super hard version of Final Fantasy VII. You can see the Barrett mod right here. It gives you a little description on the left. This one says, this mod makes your darkest nightmares come true. The Barrett cells have spread to everyone in the Final Fantasy VII universe and have gained the appearance of Barrett. It's like, okay, a lot of this stuff I'm not going to use, right? There's a lot of weird things like that. I encourage you to look through all of these mods and kind of, see if anything sounds good to you. But what I'm going to do is go through and download the mods that I recommend and that I am going to use for a pretty true to the original version, without doing things like this Barrett mod. But before I do that, one thing I will point out is if you click something, a lot of these will have a link right here, an external link that you can click. Pulled up on my other screen, but it'll bring you to a page, explaining a little bit more, maybe about the mod, or it'll have screenshots of it. This one's all about battle models. I don't really know what this is, but you can see it's updating a bunch of models to be different. These look really janky to me, but just showing you that some of them have extra resources that you can investigate what the mod is. The last thing I'll show you before I go and grab all the mods I would recommend is the far right button here. This far right middle button with the little down arrow. If you hover over it, you can see it says download selected mod. That's what you're going to push once you're clicking through the library and you find something you like. You're going to go over and hit that arrow and let it download.
A few moments later.
Alright, so I just wanted to show you really quick while it's downloading. Once you click that download button, you can just go through and just click download, 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 and it'll queue them all up here at the bottom section of the screen. You can see I've got quite a few pending. It's already completed a bunch, but it's got more pending, so it does require some patience. Some are bigger than others, but just let it do its thing, and we'll take a look at all of the ones I downloaded here right now.
A few moments later.
Alright, my friends, we are ready to rock and roll. You can see my queue at the bottom here is empty. I've gone through the whole master list and grabbed all the things I need. And the great thing is you can see on the right, while I'm in the browse catalog, there's a star on the far right column showing that I've already downloaded that mod. So that's useful. So let's fly over to the My Mods tab now, where we can see the ones I've downloaded. And here they are. Now, something to point out right away, while you are downloading the mods, if you've clicked, maybe 12 different ones and they're all downloading, you might get pop-up windows saying, hey, by the way, if you want this mod on, I need to disable this other one. Just go ahead and just follow the prompts that it asks you to do. Just say, okay, that's fine. Because you'll see once you get in here, it's automatically got some of these off. This one is turned off right here. And that's because, see, this was a one that had to do with 30 FPS FMVs, the cutscenes. But I've got another one. I downloaded another one that was the Cosmos FMV 30 FPS. So it recognized automatically that it was doubling up on similar mods, and it said, hey, I'm going to turn this one off. So for the most part, it should set you up exactly how you need to be. Same with this one. I had a Sunamods textures mod. You can see it upscales the backgrounds. It turned that off for me automatically as well. I'm just going to leave those off and follow its recommendations. So we've already talked about the toggles here, but I'll just show you one more time. You can actually just click these on and off just like this. It's very awesome. One click, literally, you can mess around with the things that you like to be on or off and make the best combination for you. On the right here, we've got configure mod, which we're going to skip that real quick and go to the further right, the actual buttons in the mod manager, and just go over a couple of these. The only ones you're really going to need to use is this up and down arrow. This moves the mod that you've selected up or down in this list. Now, this isn't just for convenience sake. It has a certain load order, which the mods usually know by default. So the order that it's automatically put it in, I'm not going to mess with. But sometimes if you're troubleshooting, you might need to move a mod up or down in the priority list of where it loads. Usually you won't have to do that, but just know that's what these up and down buttons do. You've got the configure mod button over here, which is the exact same as this, and we'll look at that in a sec. But you've also got enable all your mods, disable all your mods, and then you can throw mods away, right? Uninstall them if you click them and hit the garbage icon. So that's pretty much it for these buttons. Let's go into the configure mod button. This is really, really cool and where it gets really fun. So for example, this top mod, it's called Ifrit FF7 Interface Tweaks. Let's look at the far left here in the information column again. What does this do? A collection of tweaks for the FF7 interface, configure mod to enable different options. So it's talking about that configure mod button we're going to look at. Well, what are the options? Interface compatibility, you can choose. Optimize stock main menu and other UI elements. Choose between stock and 16:9 battle UI layouts. Move stock battle UI to the bottom of the screen. So there's all kinds of different things in here. Set avatar resolution. So let's look at the actual configure mod button and see these things in action. Click. Okay, so it's laid out really nicely. You can see little previews of what it's talking about. Intro logos, change the splash screen, intro logos, no change, classic HD, modern, Final Fantasy VII, or just skip the logos, which is what we're gonna do. Dialogue transparency, no change, 95%, right? Let's do 70%, 50%. You can see the box is getting more transparent. So all kinds of little things here you can mess with. Avatar resolution, 1080p, 1440. The avatar, OG enhanced. So again, this is UI specific, this mod. OG shadow. Portraits, you can see it's got the full portraits here. Transparent portraits, all kinds of options that you can choose from. Oh, I like that circle, that's kind of nifty. Slanted, it's just so cool. I'm going to go for now with the OG Enhanced, because I want an experience that's a little closer to the original. Bottom battle UI, off, on. You can see it snaps it to the very bottom of the screen. So just all kinds of stuff to play with. And you can just hit the save button down here when you're done. So next, let's look through all of the mods that I got, so you can kind of see the experience that I'm making. I'm sure I'll build on it and tweak it later, but for the sake of this video, let's just go with what they have. We already looked at the FF7 interface tweaks. The next one is Cosmo Memory. This one is a complete sound overhaul, updates every single sound effect in the game, adds ambient sound effects to every field in the game, adds ambient sound effects to every battle in the game, voiced attacks for every character, ground conditional footstep sounds. It reminds me of like Final Fantasy VIII, where you can hear their foot clicks on the ground. Updates all video cutscene sound effects. And it says compatible with any FMV video and Echo S. Shuffles sounds so repeating sounds don't sound the same, etc., etc., etc. So, I won't go through all of the configure mod menus with you. You can explore all that fun stuff by yourself. I'll just run through the main mods that I have and what they do, and then I'll cut forward in time for you and we'll get to the game. The Echo S7 mod is a huge one. This is probably the most popular one. It adds voice acting to the entire game. Yep, you heard me right. Every single character, every single NPC, every single text box that you read that's spoken by a character, it is fully voiced, and it's wild. The Wizard Staff mod updates spell names to the official names used in modern Final Fantasy games. So for example, Bolt 2 is now Thundara. Cosmos FMV 30 FPS, this is the one that's on. So this replaces the character models in the FMV in the cutscenes, so you can choose between two different styles of characters. I'll show you this really quick so you can know what it means. You can change them to be like these more realistic sketch-looking character models in the cutscenes, or these chibi models in the cutscenes. 60-30 FPS, that's pretty self-explanatory. It bumps the gameplay up to 60 or 30 frames per second, depending on what you're doing in the game. Nino style battle, this is one of my favorite ones. It makes your battle character models look like this. It looks like the, classic art from the instruction manual, and it's freaking awesome. These are the ones featured in the screenshots I showed earlier in the video. Battle scenes color enhancement, it just enhances the color for the battle scenes so they look a lot more vibrant. Avalanche Arisen battle textures, you can see the clear difference here from the old one to the new one. They just remade all the battle backgrounds. And this is an add-on for that one as well. It gets rid of this little grid pattern that the old one had, so it's smooth. First Soldier Nino Style. So this is an add-on to actually the Nino Style Chibi, which I'll show you first. It basically changes those Lego Minecraft looking character avatars to be these really cool enhanced Chibi ones. And the First Soldier add-on makes it so you can modify Cloud's design to be like the original, or a little closer in color scheme to the art inside the manual and stuff like that, the official art. Nino Style HD Field. So this is kind of an add-on. It replaces the character models with some new stuff. This is specifically for the field models. Cosmos Limit Breaks. Field background textures extended for widescreen. SYW Unified Spell Textures. It makes the spell animations look a lot better. And then finally, Cosmos Gaia. This is a world map overhaul that re-implements the terrain rendering to add analog movement and camera controls, real-time lighting, and extended view distance. We might not get to the world map in my little test footage we're going to do here, so let me just show you what this looks like. Look how crazy this is. I don't think I used this mod before, but from what I understand, you can zoom out to where it does look like this. You can zoom the camera in and out like really far, and as it mentioned, it fixes the draw distance to be a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to go through and configure some of these mods real quick. I will do that off screen, and then we will jump into the game.
A few moments later.
Alright my dudes, it is time. I went through and configured each mod to my preferences. I did turn on the voice acting, the Echo S mod. That's one of the most popular ones. I didn't use it last time I played through with mods last year, but I turned it on this time so you can just see how big of an impact some of these mods can make to the game's experience. For now, let's dive right in. Put my glasses on here. We're going to go up to the top left, hit the play button. This is so cool, dude. If I could have seen this in 1997, 1998 when I was playing this for the first time, oh my gosh, my brain would have been blown. Make it full screen. You can see it skipped the Splash screens, because that mod turned it off. Look at that.
Oh, look at that. That's nice and shiny.
New sound effects. You can see Echo S. This is the voice acting mod. It makes its own screen. New sound effects. Welcome to Project Echo S. It's just letting you know about some stuff. I'm going to skip through this. Let them know if you find bugs, etc. You can already see that 60 frames a second. It's got the cast going on the screen like a movie. Look at that. You can hear the ambient noises in the cutscenes, the extra sound effects, people talking, etc. Way higher resolution backgrounds as well. That's cool, it's got the Echo S on the logo too. A little bit janky on the character models, but look, they're all updated. There we go. Look at Barrett. Looks so much better.
Damn you, Merc. You're up.
There we are. Check him out. Gotta get the potion. You can hear again, the sound effects are all different. Menu's nice and clean. Right, let's jump into that first battle here around the corner. Backgrounds look way better. Obviously his character model's upgraded. Uh-oh, we got some glitching down there in the HVMP, you see that? Pretty sweet. Move my face a little bit out of the way as well. There we go. Maybe we can check out the new spell animations. Nice. That character model looks so cool. Cloud has, all the characters have battle grunts and stuff as well. And I turned them to 25% frequency, so they're not constantly talking in battle.
Unbelievable. You soldier guys sure are something. Hard to believe we got a guy like you in a group like Avalanche.
So, what's Soldier Boy's deal? Is he one of us now? Thought they were the enemy.
He isn't soldier anymore, Jesse. Besides, he's a professional, unlike the rest of us. What was your name again?
Cloud Strife.
Cloud Strife,
Notice
eh?
it takes out the rename screen.
Not interested. Once this job's over, I'm out of here.
What did I just say? Told you to never move as a group. Our target's Mako Reactor 1. We'll rendezvous at the bridge in front of it.
Barrett sounds similar to the remake's voice. Cloud does not.
Better be worth the money, Merc.
Run by holding cancel while using the direction buttons.
That's fun. It's got like a narrator. Nice. I remember that glitching in particular the last time I played it, so now that I have the new version, I'm glad those little cutscenes work. But yeah, that is so smooth. That frame rate is so smooth. I'm gonna have to look into the glitched numbers down there. So again, some of the stuff like that, it just takes some tweaking. It just takes messing with the mods and messing with the configurations, updating it maybe, but I need to turn up the battle speed as well. Let's look at the Blizzard spell animation.
Chill.
It's just so nice. So my preference is to have no voice acting. I think it's amazing all the work these actors and stuff put into this, but I prefer to have no voices, but I do like the battle grunts. So I think you can turn one or the other off. You don't have to, it's not all or nothing, which is, I really appreciate. Those ambient footsteps are that's a really nice touch. I was wondering if that was going to be annoying or not.
When we blow this place, there ain't gonna be nothing left but a pile of rubble.
The attention to detail, do you hear the echo since we're in the big chamber? That's pretty crazy.
Alright, lapdog. Why don't you set up the bomb?
Shouldn't you do this? I'll watch the rear.
As far as I'm concerned, you're the one that needs watching.
Fine. Wake up. This isn't just a reactor.
The muffled, that's so cool.
I said, what is it? Something wrong?
I'm fine.
Even the enemies look awesome. Totally redone. Those animations look great. Brand new, obviously.
I'll carve you up!
So cool.
I had enough of your sorry ass!
The alarm. Come on, we gotta move.
5 minutes to detonation.
Remember how annoying that loud alarm sound was in the original? They took it out. It's just gone. It snaps into that old aspect ratio for the cutscene. Wow, that looks way better though. Way better.
Excuse me? Has something happened?
Don't worry about it. Hey, it's dangerous. You should leave.
That's cool that it reads it to you before you make the choice.
Don't worry about it. It's dangerous. You should...
Oh, dangerous, huh? Guess I shouldn't be selling flowers right now.
She's got her staff on her back. I think that's a toggle I can turn on and off. I turned it off for Cloud.
What the hell just happened?
Even NPCs, man. Every box of dialogue is voiced.
What's that on the wall? Let's see. Don't be fooled by Shinra.
I mean, it's so much work. It's so much work they put into this.
Sorry,
Hear the
but I
train?
don't have time to mess around with you guys.
That's a new sound.
That's enough of your lip. Caesar!
It looks so much better, dude. Look at that. Cutscenes look fantastic. For how friggin' old these are and archaic, they look great.
You've heard what's happened, right?
No, what?
Really? It's been all over the news. There's been a terrorist attack up above, and guess what? The target was a Mako reactor. You know what this means? Oh, I see.
Papa!
Marlene, aren't you gonna say hello to Cloud? Welcome back, Cloud. Looks like the mission went well.
She's got a good voice actress.
You didn't argue with Barrett, did you?
I kept my cool. Ask him. I kept my cool.
Is that so? I'm not used to Cloud all grown up. When you were little, you'd get into fights at the drop of a hat. Good morning, Cloud. Sleep well?
Next to you, who wouldn't?
I don't know what you mean.
Yes, you do. Yeah, dude, those step sounds are so cool.
Get ready for it. Here it comes.
Freeze!
All right, everybody. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you get out and get the 7th Heaven Mod Manager. Buy Final Fantasy VII on Steam. Play it modded. It's an amazing experience. Mess with all the mods. Tweak them to your liking so you get that perfect Final Fantasy VII experience. And you can maybe do this while you wait for the 3rd and final installment in the remake trilogy. But I don't know. For me, this is my preference. But anyway, have an awesome day, you guys, and I'll talk to you next time. See ya. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and especially ring the bell so you can be notified for new videos, of course, but also for every time I go live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to stream games.